All right, people, we're back again. So from the previous video, right, I was talking to you guys about how Twitter users are fixing art. So if you guys haven't checked out that video, go check it out. It's pretty much dealing with how a lot of people who are non-artists are using AI to fix artist work of art that they display online. So now this is going to be part 2 of that. So I always put the original content in the description below. So shout out to Muhammad. I am not gonna butcher your last name, all right? But shout out to you, man, because you are keeping up with the news of what's going on as far as like current news with art and TikTok. So without further ado, let's dive into this video.
If you watched my last video about the fixing art drama that has been happening on Twitter since the inglorious rise of the Studio Ghibli art trend, you would automatically assume you had seen the worst of the Twitter art community. But it truly amazes me how deep the rabbit hole actually goes. From people who have been exposed as domestic abusers making tweets claiming AI art is the future and sharing a generated image of them.
It's funny how if you guys see how crooked this is, proud to be an artist, but yet this is all AI, and even AI just can't even detect how crooked the typography is. It's not aligning at all with the banner. So that's what you get for using AI if you're not an artist. You know, you can always use AI as a tool. I always kept saying it. Use it as a tool, but you still need to know the nuances of producing art. But if you don't know how to produce art, now you are heavily, a slave to AI because you can't go in there fix anything because you don't know how to fix things to begin with.
And being proud to be an AI artist, heavy on the air quotes, because clearly calling yourself an artist when all you use is AI is totally ridiculous.
Okay, well, yeah. I am actually an artist.
You understand the whole premise of art? I'm gonna be pausing all the time. Just if you don't like that, get out of here. Like I said, I'm gonna always put the original content in the description below. You guys came here based upon commentary / reaction. All right. So artist is someone who can create something from their imagination into a visual piece. You're not an artist if you're just typing in what the AI should produce for you. You have to be the producer yourself. All right. Artists, again, creativity from nothing to something. Right. So always keep that in mind.
Think AI art is real art?
I do. I do, yeah, I do. Because it's just another way of translating your thoughts and your ideas into just like someone drawing on a digital format, just like someone drawing on a paint, like a piece of paper. It's just another method of a medium of showing or describing.
Showing or describing. They don't even know what they're talking about because they don't know how to produce. All right. That's like a singer saying, hey, I'm a singer, but guess what? I just take samples of Michael Jackson and Prince and whoever, Usher, Chris Brown, and by me taking all that, I'm a singer. Now, if you use that same analogy with AI, using it as a tool, then you could say I could take samples from something that's pre-existing, but I'm using it as a sample, like fair use, and then transforming it into my own by having my talent, my skills, right? By vocalizing, whether it's rap or singing, but I'm just using background samples. That's completely different as a tool. But if you're literally just taking Michael Jackson, but then turn it into Michael Jackson voice, but turn it into Ice Spice with AI, you're not an artist. Those are two different things.
What's inside your mind? So I do believe AI art is real art.
A lot of artists would disagree.
I don't care. I don't care. It's my opinion, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's ignorant. That's all it is.
I even had this conversation with my husband recently where we talked about even producing art using AI as like a form of art to resell because I think it's just so beautiful. It's a new way of thinking. Yeah.
And like the prompts is what matters, and like that requires creativity, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I totally agree.
So I guess like no different from Google searching. So if I Google search something based upon a prompt, right? Because I'm telling Google search this for me, I make the art.
And now people are dogging on artists because they're standing their ground and trying to protect their intellectual property. The only people I see pissed about AI art are butthurt artists who might lose commissions because the AI can do it faster and better. All the crying about stealing is ridiculous and nonsensical.
Get the hell out of here, man. No matter, look, for the low IQ, I shouldn't even say that. Let me not be rude. For the people who are unaware, okay, you could fool them, but that's not necessarily the masses. It's the same thing if, let's say, for example, I said this in my previous video, one of the previous videos, I talked about CGI. I'm not a computer graphics artist as far as like doing 3D animations using Maya or ZBrush, right, or Blender, but I can still tell between good CGI and bad CGI. Just like even people who are non-artists, you could tell between good art and bad art. It's no different from AI art and art that's actually made from scratch. There's a huge difference. You don't need to have a strong eye to see the difference. No different from clothing when it comes down to counterfeit compared to the real deal. You can see the difference. So it's not faster doesn't mean better. Faster is lowering down the quality. So you rather want quantity or quality, but you cannot have both. AI doesn't do both.
With all the talk about artists lately, I think we should just get rid of them. No more art for anyone. Fuck your art. I love artists, but after following many for years, most of them are just toxic narcissistic weirdos who can't process nuance for shit. The majority of online artists are weirdo loner misanthropes, which is why a lot of them are also some type of political extremists. Reading through Twitter made me realize that myself...
Twitter is I don't even have a Twitter, thank goodness, or X. It's just everybody just want to, it's an attention. Everybody trying to reach for attention. So in order to get that attention, you got to say the most toxic, extreme comments to get attention. Even the people in the comment section want attention. Of course, that's extremely ignorant. And like I said in the previous video, if you decide to draw, even if you're not an artist, try to draw and see how it feels. That's the best way for you to understand is when you do it yourself. Then you'll have a really good, humbling experience.
And some other artists included somehow share similarities with political extremists and people who perpetuate acts of violence outside social media. The more you know. The hate for artists just making drawings for themselves goes even deeper on Twitter, as an artist who happened to share a drawing he made with his little daughter as they shared a moment bonding together over a few pencils and drawing tablets, with the caption saying, "It took me less than a day to make this drawing, and I'm sure my daughter will never forget it or these moments we spent drawing together. I feel sorry for you who will never be able to feel that," while also sharing the drawing process from start to finish for the know-it-all people who will potentially call his drawing AI art and then somehow try to accuse him of generating the image instead of drawing it. The tweet itself had almost 10 million views with a whopping 290,000 likes and counting.
Jeez.
The post had a lot of people cheering the art.
I think it's because it looks AI even though it's not. It has the AI aesthetic. Like it's taking inspiration from anime, you know. But kudos for showing the step-by-step process. I mean, he legit made this, right? This isn't BS, you know, so that's what's up.
Artists and praising him for being an awesome dad and role model for us all to follow. And while all this glorious positivity was just casually circulating the atmosphere, guess what happened? Just take a wild guess. I'll give you a few seconds to figure it out. A Twitter user took the artist's private photo and turned it into the Studio Ghibli art style using AI. According to them, this was done.
But that's what's going on. You taking what people worked hard for, and that's how AI exists. AI cannot just make something from scratch. It needs to be pre-existing based upon the backs of actual artists. Like I said in the other video, the mother and the children, right? Or the father and the children. Artists are the father. AI is just children, right? And it needs the original in order for it to exist. Without the original, it doesn't exist.
And in under 5 minutes. So instead of the artist wasting all that time bonding with his daughter over the sound of crayons scratching paper, he should have just used a prompt to generate the image and spend the rest of his day doing something more productive with his time.
That wasn't a baby, by the way. That is an actual grown adult. Look it up.
Give me a mug of your finest.
Yeah, let's skip this. Oh, come on, YouTube. I felt the ad looked beautiful. I strongly will skip.
For the record, fixing an artist's work, manipulating their drawing, or even feeding it into AI in an attempt to self-proclaim make it better is already bad enough. But taking a personal photo of the artist and his daughter, something they took in private, taking that and feeding it to AI just to prove a point is absurd to me. Why would
I kind of disagree, only because if you put photos of you and your children, this is why you got to stay private. You can't get mad off of the outcome of people using your content. If I take a photo, I don't have children, but if I take a photo of me and let's say if I had children and I post it online, I can't get mad off of them taking it and turning it into something crazy. I put it out there as public, consumption, public viewing. It's public. If I didn't want that, then I should not put it out there on the internet. I need to keep it private. You could take pictures and make your own personal illustration that doesn't need to be out there for everyone to see. So I do disagree with him on that point, because I understand it could pull people's emotional strings. Like, oh my God, children, anything dealing with women and children is like, oh, that's off limits. But it's like, but it's open season the moment you put it out there on the internet. So that's my opinion on that.
would you even think it's okay to do that? What is even wrong with you? The worst part is the generated image doesn't even look half as good as what the artist drew. It just looks flat and wonky and doesn't even feel as genuine as the artist's drawing. Even the expressions his daughter has look so much better in his drawing than in the generated image. The fixed image instantly went viral and gained nearly 8 million views. People started calling out the person who made the tweet, telling them how bad their generated image was and pointing out areas in the image which didn't make any sense because the AI just couldn't comprehend what was going on in the image. You are the purest proof that artists who spend hours drawing true art are undervalued. You certainly do nothing more than AI drawings. Your AI drawings are despicable, as are those who think this is art. You didn't make anything because you didn't do it, but the machine didn't even do it. It just copied and executed poorly. AI is the only option for those who
even if it executed it to the T, it still needed the original source. And that's what I'm saying. AI is just copycat. It's just copying. You're just prompting. It's not authentic. You know, again, as a tool, fine, right? Background use, but you design the foreground, that's perfectly fine. Or if you're using as like reference because you can't draw something properly, so you want to see a complete image. Some people need inspiration, so they can use AI as inspiration, but they're still going to make it from beginning to the end from scratch. No problem. But when you're taking somebody's work, they didn't ask for your permission to take their work, and you turn it to AI, that's crazy. But I still stand on the fact that he still put out the photograph of his child. So that's fair game. You put it out on the internet. However, AI, as an effect of you taking something that, hey, I made it look better through AI. It's like, no, you didn't. Without the original, that wouldn't exist.
Are bitter enough about life to not dedicate themselves to learning anything, and that's basically what you deserve, breaking every single law against copyright. Also, I'm not so sure if you realize this, but no one considers drawing on a digital tablet cheating. Well, at least in 2025 anyway. A couple of years back in the early 2010s, that would have been a different story. And the last bit about his daughter dying of boredom just proves to me that you literally don't know anything about kids at all, and you need to get off the internet and touch grass. Do you know how many hours I spent just filling up pages of a Harry Potter coloring book I had when I was a kid? I'll sit at the table for hours just scribbling and trying to fill in the lines with my mom watching, and I never for once complained or felt bored. So your take is just bad any way you want to look at it. Did you pay Studio Ghibli royalties and gore. I expect it in 2 hours, just like you did with this. Also, I won't pay you. Huh?
And that's the saddest part about it. We already deal with starving artists because people, the masses, don't really respect artists. Not all. I gotta always say that, but this is why you have the trope calling starving artists. Even before AI, there was always starving artists. There was always people that was more enthusiastic of getting the product, which is the artist producing the art. And then when it comes down to the transaction of payment, they end up getting cold feet, right? That's when it's like, oh man, I got to pay you. It's like, yeah, because I spent hours working on X, Y, and Z for you, right? And now with AI, it's like, oh, we could just cut down the middleman, right? Which is the artist. We could just use AI, but it's like the little nuances of the fingers being 7 fingers, right? You guys seen it in the videos where I react to AI Disney celebrities or different anime characters and a different other art style from another anime show. Is like, yeah, some are cool, but it still looks extremely flat, right? And then they have like 6 fingers some of the times, right? It's just something where the life is not really into it because there is no life. It's just flat. There's no human being that is having a human touch to produce the art. Therefore, it will still forever be something that you will see. Even if you're not an artist, you'll look at it and be like, there's something missing. That's because there's no soul that's been put into it.
These people, okay, AI does it faster and it's better. It looks worse than AI and I don't care. People then started taking his picture and using AI to turn it into Studio Ghibli versions, telling him he wasted 2 hours trying to prove he didn't need modern tools.
But that's the thing. He didn't waste 2 hours because you're taking what he made that took him 2 hours. In order for you to make the copy version, you needed the original. I know it's like a freaking broken record, but it's just it doesn't make any sense. You're literally taking the backs of their hard work and mocking them, saying, "Look at me, it only took me 2 seconds while it took you 2 hours." Well, if it wasn't for the 2 hours, your 2 seconds wouldn't exist. It makes no sense. It's so weird.
When AI could have done it in 8 seconds. I truly don't understand why all these people get so heated when an artist tries to make a drawing for themselves, or if a person decides to challenge themselves to learn how to draw instead of learning a prompt. It's as if for some miraculous reason, somehow drawing has now become taboo all of a sudden. And now people aren't even allowed to draw anymore since we have AI that can make sloppy images in less than 3 seconds. They're so hyperfixated on the fact that an AI can make an image in less time than an artists and are using every single chance they get to try and convince people that their AI generated images are better than anything an artist creates in real time. Who really cares? If these AI images are so good, why do you have to try so hard to prove it? Artists are not even trying to compete with AI and are not even bothered.
Those are 2 different mediums. I look at AI as it's almost like just another filter. Like on Instagram, you just play around with the filters. That's all it is. Yee, way, wow. When something is so easy, there's no importance to it. There's no significance. If you can literally make a movie with a few clicks, are you really going to appreciate making movies? No. There's a reason why in life we appreciate things based upon hard work. There's a balance. If you work way too hard, that's insanity, right? But if you work way too smart, it's lazy. And that's where we're at right now. You just prompting is lazy. That's why you don't value it. You see it on YouTube with the YouTube shorts of them just having these AI imagery and videos. No one cares. They're just like, wow, that's cool. Make another one. But when it's actual art and artists actually go through showing you the step-by-step process, those viewers appreciate it more because they create it out of thin air. AI, it's a filter. Ooh, I'm going to make one just like that too. It's just fun. Doesn't matter. Who cares? That's all it is. So those are 2 different things. There's a logistical thought process of drawing something from beginning to the end and physical process. AI is just a filter. How long it take you just to type something in? Oh, it didn't come out good, like a microwave. Let me type it again. Oh, it didn't come out good. Let me type it again. Oh, it came out good. I guess that's hard work. Crazy.
Bothered to prove any point. The only person trying to prove a point is you. Artists make art because they enjoy the process of making something out of nothing but pure passion and the fulfillment you get from doing it yourself. Artists are not just trying to finish a drawing in 10 seconds and call it a day, in as much as that will be quite delightful. Art is a journey that teaches you patience and perseverance and helps you learn more about yourself than any AI could possibly ever do. You see, artists derive pleasure in the process and not the result, but you wouldn't understand that because you're lazy and lack a level of creativity that even the average 3-year-old possesses. We do not give a fuck if
Facts. Yep. Why do you think when we look at children, they have purity, innocence before they become corrupted in society? Like kids, they don't judge each other. They become friends so easily. They're vulnerable. Right? They don't get caught up in how cruel the world is. And they're so pure, they just draw something out of their heads. They don't care about how it looks, anatomy, whatever. It's just an emotional feeling from their head that they transfer it onto a canvas. And as you get older, a lot of people lose that. They lose it because they get caught up in what society is telling them. Oh, your work is not good enough. It's not up to par. Blah, 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 blah. And then they give up and then they kind of lose it, right? And then even when you're using AI, it's again, like what she said or what this person said in the comments, it's not about the end result. It's about understanding the process. The more you understand the process, the better you become. Just like with fishing. It's not about just, I catch all these fishes easily with my automatic fish rod. It's like, that's you just took away the essence of it. It's about the process. Get the most cheap fishing rod you can and learn from beginning to the end how to work hard to catch a fish yourself. It feels more authentic than just to have this tool, this machine you just throw in there that does all the work for you. You don't appreciate it. You don't understand the feeling, the reality of it, right?
AI can do this in 8 seconds. We enjoy drawing. Hope this helps. Aside from 1 or 2 comments praising the AI image, every single person was calling out the AI image for how sloppy and soulless it looked and how lazy the person who made it must be to have taken the time to go out of their way and create it. An interesting observation was brought to my attention by some kind-hearted people who watched my last video in the comment section and also on Twitter that the drawing from Sam Does Arts, which I happen to use for comparison to AI, was also generated by an AI model. How frustrating. To the untrained eye, a drawing made by an AI modeled after another popular artist obviously might seem to be objectively better than drawings made by a real artist, but
so
it
weird.
Actually isn't. And to be fair, the disparity
And for those people who are not artists, think about this really easy analogy for everyone to understand. Imagine if, let's say, instead of you working out, trying to build a physique, right? Instead of you working out, trying to build a physique, you take steroids, you take PEDs, you take the shortcut, and then you build a physique within a week. Are you going to appreciate that? Let's take it to the next level, where instead of you even taking steroids, they got something even crazier than that, where you select, like you go to a doctor, a surgeon, and you literally can just select easily what type of physique you want. Oh, I want an Arnold's physique. I want a Chris Bumstead physique. Right? I want a Ronnie Coleman physique. Flex Wheeler physique. And then within 2 seconds, you get it. Just like that. No hard work, no weights, no dieting, no exercising. You just get it right away. If that exists, then most people will not appreciate the hard work it takes to get there. That's why I will never take no PEDs. Never. I want to take none of those things. Why? Because I take pride in the hard work. And people can respect that because it's not easy to get there. So there's admiration, right? But when something is easy, Imagine someone sees my physique and I'm like, well, all I did was just select the button. All of a sudden I look like this. It takes it away. You didn't work hard. You didn't earn it. AI became more of a spoiled gift rather than a reward. A reward is when you work hard and you achieve your goals. AI is just a spoiled gift. And this is why people are acting like that. Because in the human mind, you always would appreciate the amount of work it took to accomplish your goal from point A to point B and still going beyond that. So there's a huge difference. You will never appreciate nothing if you never worked hard at it.
Isn't even close. For example, here's this image modeled after the art style of Sam Does Art. As you can tell, it seems to have an understanding of what his style looks like and could potentially spit out drawings made from mimicking his work. But when you put this AI image side by side with an actual image made by Sam, you can see that it's not even close. The AI image looks extremely stiff compared to Sam's art, and it doesn't have the careful, mindless strokes and emotions that come from every single thought that went through Sam's head while he was making the painting. Apparently, this was done on a website called Prompt Hero, and I'm sure the AI bros are going to be laughing, saying, haha, I told you AI is better. See, it can replicate your favorite creator's art. And to be fair, I'll take the hit for this one. Yes, it's fairly close at replicating the Sam Does art style. Is it better than Sam? Heck no, because without Sam ever sharing his art on the internet, there'll be no art to use to train the AI model in the first place. But the fact that this AI model can come close to replicating his painting is truly insane and scary at the same time. It's frightening just thinking of all the loopholes and ways scammers could actually use this to manipulate people and take their money from them. This should clearly not be allowed. Sam needs to lock in and sue for real. But unfortunately, Sam isn't the only artist who has had.
But then it's sad because it's going to become to the point where, think of it like music. Remember back then when they had LimeWire and all these other platforms where you don't need to buy the album. You don't need to support the artist. You could literally get the whole album for free using LimeWire, right? So if millions of people are doing that, then it becomes almost impossible to sue every last one of them. It's impossible. If you're from New York, people still be hopping on a train, right? If one person does it, the cop will come in and pull you over. Like, hey, what you doing? They'll pull you to the side and they'll give you a ticket. But there are times where it's more than a dozen people hopping on the train. The cops can't stop everybody. Even hopping on a bus, if it's more than a dozen people, what are you gonna do? Stop every last one of them? You can't. It gets to the point where it's too much to handle. So it sucks because if a lot of people are going to take advantage of that, right? Then it's going to get to the point where if millions of people are taking Sam Does artwork, his likeness of his style, it's almost impossible. Almost impossible. The only option he'll have is to not produce or showcase his artwork at all, and it needs to be behind a paywall. That's the law of diminishing in returns, because unfortunately you need to showcase yourself in order to get exposure and run your business. But then on the contrary, by always showcasing your artwork and becoming popular, eventually people are going to cut corners instead of actually use you as an artist in terms of your service, so you can actually get the commission and then they'll have it authentically. So it's unfortunate that he's in that position, but at the same time, at least, I know this is messed up what I'm saying, but at least he's in a position, correct me if I'm wrong, where his YouTube AdSense, Patreon, and all these other platforms that he's in, he has enough supporters to authentically support him. Even though there's people out there that is going to cut corners and steal his artwork. So what do you guys think about that? Let me know down below.
their work hijacked by the plague of AI enthusiasts, as other artists have also shared their concerns after seeing people feed their art into AI and then train the models to be able to create similar versions of their work. And I still don't even know how any of this is considered legal, because to me all this just looks like plagiarism. If you have to use an artist's work to create an identical replication of the same style using the artist's name.
But it's gonna be hard to track down
black and
those
white,
people.
and I hate that it's happening to artists without them being able to do anything about it. Twitter users are now making statements saying art is now accessible and anyone can turn their imaginations into reality after typing a few prompts, and further shitting on artists, telling them to get a day job or level up their art, since apparently AI has raised the bar for art. So
you can't compare, for all those artists out there, you can't compare yourself to AI. AI is a prompt. It's like a sophisticated and yet unsophisticated filter. So in terms of logistics of creating concept art, developing stages of making these new characters, new IP, AI fails. Can't do it. Why? Because it needs to feed off of something that's pre-existing, right? So you still need the mother or the father. You still need the original artist, because human beings are way more advanced than AI. AI can just produce on a fast rate that's already existing, but human beings can actually make new things at a slower rate. So again, the clash between AI, which is quantity, but not good original quality. Human beings are slower, but they actually have original quality. Quantity versus quality.
High, so the expectations of the average artist is high level art because they're competing against AI models that can do better. And I'm not making this up when I tell you I lost brain cells just making this video. It's as if they somehow want artists to respect them because they learned a new prompt and know how to type in a few words to generate a shitty image.
I'm tired of not being respected as an AI artist.
You still making that typing art?
This artwork alone is a culmination of 100 hours of AI output.
Looks easy enough.
Translation. You're just typing. You're literally just typing. That's all you're doing. I'm typing until eventually the AI could give me what I want, because I can't produce my own. So I just need to type. You're more of a researcher than an artist. I'll say it again. You're more of a researcher than an artist. Oh, let me say it for the third time. You didn't hear me. You're more of a researcher than an artist. Get out of here with that, Moose.
To me.
Bro, then you try. The challenge was on, so I needed to find a neutral party to give us a prompt and judge the end result.
New York, but on Mars.
If you love binge watching and you hate being interrupted by ads, you need Pi. It's a free browser extension
I don't
that
like
blocks
to be
ads on your
interrupted by ads. All right, let's see this. Let's see this hunk of this is not art. What are you prompting?
To the judge.
Get this out of here.
Planet in another universe, surreal photorealism, view from a spaceship floating by swag.
Are you coding? He's it's like coding. Yeah. That's all it is. In fact, at least developers will say, "Yeah, I'm a developer." Can't make stuff.
Like the left, it looks too Earth though, so I'm gonna go with the.
I make stuff through code.
AI art is not so easy after all.
Newsflash, we're still not going to refer to you as artists.
You're not an artist.
Miyazaki said, whoever creates this stuff has no idea what pain is. If you really want to make creepy stuff, go ahead and do it. I will never wish to incorporate this technology into my work at all. I strongly feel that using AI is an insult to life itself, which is why it's no surprise that studios are now calling out the Studio Ghibli art trend and are seeking to take
It's the same situation that happened years ago when iPhone just released. And iPhone's advertisement back then, because I'm an old guy, was that it will replace laptops and computers. And now we in, this 2025, right? Time of this recording, did iPhones significantly replace laptops and computers? No. Basic, using apps, sure, if you want to just quickly send emails, just the basics. But can you actually draw something with an iPhone? No. Even with iPads, you're still limited compared to a desktop, right? Desktop, you have more fluidity because the power is a lot stronger than a tablet. Yes, you can use the main ones that people use on iPads, right? Which is Procreate and all these other iPad drawing programs. But that's just not the same. But again, I'm going on a little bit of a tangent. Let's go back to iPhones. They literally said that iPhones can replace computers, and it's not even close. Same thing with Instagram. They said Instagram with the filters can, and with phones and taking pictures with your phone, can literally replace a camera, right? Phones can replace a camera as far as photo and video quality. And again, that's a no. It's not happening. So that's the same thing when it comes down to AI art. You just can't replace it with actual artists.
Legal action against the developers for alleged unauthorized copyright infringement and lifting the Miyazaki art style. While AI prompters are desperately seeking new ways to administer their horrid images using softwares that make it seem like you're drawing and mimicking every single form of making art except actually trying to make art, others are fixing pictures of artists and making them pregnant because the artists showed themselves drawing instead of making prompts, and the AI enthusiasts got mad. A generous Twitter user, out of the goodwill of their heart, decided to spare us the torture and created an extension for Chrome that automatically filters out all the AI generated Studio Ghibli images from your timeline, so your once normal looking feed can start to feel alive again. I think a lot of these AI generated images are nothing more than just random images that end up being spread online for memes and rage bait so people can end up talking about them. This whole discourse between AI people and artists should not discourage you from ever wanting to learn how to draw or trying to improve your art and become a better.
And again, that's the biggest thing between AI versus artist. It literally is one, AI just focus on the end result because that's all it can do, right? That's all AI can do. While artists, which is authentic, they focus a lot on the step-by-step process along with the finished work of art. Right? So there's always going to be a clash between the two. Oh, forget about the step-by-step. Just produce. I don't care. Keep producing. While step-by-step process is the authenticity. So that really just depends on who you are. So what do you guys? You guys agree? You guys disagree? Let me know down below. Do you guys more are focused on quantity or you guys are more focused on quality? Right? Let me know down below. And like always, I'm an artist myself. I transform my photograph into illustrations. I use Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator with a hint of Adobe Premiere for the color grade and all that good stuff. All right. So those are some suggestions of different, IPs and different art in terms of, I say art, I'm drawing blanks. Different characters you guys want me to design in the future, whether it's Baki from Bakihama, your Yujiri Hama, or Attack on Titans, Armored Titan, anything you guys have in mind, even Broly, right? These are the ones I designed. Throw some new ones as suggestions down below, all right? And that's it for the video, guys. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.